This is Out of the Box with Jonathan Clarke on Q1043.
And welcome back. It's Jonathan Clarke here, joined by poet, author, artist, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, New York City resident, and definitely one of the most influential artists to emerge out of New York City in the early to mid-'70s, Patti Smith. Thanks so much for coming by and welcome.
Oh, thank you.
And I was reading about you, and maybe I knew these things and forgot, but you were born in Chicago, but you actually grew up in South Jersey.
Yes, I was born in Chicago after World War II. We moved to Germantown, Pennsylvania, and when I was about 9, moved to South Jersey, where I went to school and high school, and then left for New York when I was 20.
And I was in a band a long time ago. I actually played a gig at Glassboro College.
Oh, I spent 3 years at Glassboro College.
All right, so South Jersey, very cool. And that you also had sort of an early sort of association with Blue Oyster Cult back actually before they became really big, I think, right?
Yes, about 1971. I was good friends with Sandy Pearlman, and he produced the Blue Oyster Cult as well as the Clash, and he asked me to write some lyrics for them, and that was my first experience writing lyrics for rock and roll bands, so I learned a lot.
What was it like when you wrote some words and then you heard that song recorded? Must have been kind of a rush for you, or was
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. There is a brand new Patti Smith album called Trampin' in stores this coming Tuesday, April 27th. Great new album, and you are doing some dates in the area with your band at Warsaw in Brooklyn. I guess it's May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So 4 nights. It's like a residency at Warsaw.
Well, yeah, I'm excited about it because May 1st, of course, is May Day. May 4th, it culminates in the full moon on May 4th, and we are going to introduce all the new material. For better or worse, we are going to break it in at Warsaw.
That's excellent. Trampin' is your 9th studio album. Where does the title Trampin' come from?
Trampin' is a little spiritual that I've always loved. Marian Anderson sang it, and she sang it in front of the Lincoln Memorial during very segregated times.
Right.
And it's always made me feel happy. It's helped me in times of strife, and I thought it was a nice, optimistic song to put on a record that addresses a lot of troubled times.
And the first track, Jubilee, it does seem like a happy song lyrically at the beginning. Then there's talk of war in the song. Tell us about the writing of Jubilee and what it means.
Well, Jubilee is really from a patriotic point of view. I love my country. I embrace all of its optimism, its spirit, its organic law. But we are in troubled times. We do have questions, and it's a song that heralds our good things. But from a patriotic point of view, it's important that we question our government, and it does.
That is a brand new song from Patti Smith called Jubilee off her new album Trampin'. In stores this Tuesday, April 27th. Patti doing some shows at Warsaw in Brooklyn, May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Patti's been kind enough to sign some copies of the new album. So we will take callers 25, 26, and 27 on the toll-free listener line right now at 1-888-872-1043 for your Win It Before You Can Buy a Copy. So you get a signed copy of the album, pair of tickets to see Patti at one of her upcoming shows. Jonathan Clarke live in the studio with Patti Smith. What songs can your fans expect to see at these shows?
Everyone.
Really?
We're going to do them all. And I always feel, well, when you're doing new songs and doing songs live off of a record, there's always an awkward period. It's awkward and exciting, and somebody's got to be there for the gestation of these songs. So I like to do that at home. I like to do it, in our own proximity, and the people help us get through this awkward period.
People have the power.
Yeah, well, they understand, and sometimes we might do a song and it might be so bad, I'll say, we better do that again. I don't know what will happen, but I do know that I'm looking to the people to help us, get through this happy but, sort of edgy time,
right,
and get familiar with the songs so that we can take them out into the world.
Will you go back into the back catalog at all for some of the older stuff?
Oh, yeah, it's going to, we'll do all kinds of things, but I think it's important that we tackle all the new songs.
Cool. Hey, how about your children? I think we were talking about this before we got in the studio here. I think your daughter, she plays piano on
Yes.
one of the tracks on this album.
She plays the piano on Trampin', and it's her debut in the studio. My son Jackson played guitar on my last studio record, and both of them are musically gifted. They have their late father's instincts and intuition,
Right.
and so I'm very, very proud.
How about
of
them?
her
They're going to jump on
performance.
stage and maybe play with you at Warsaw?
No, my daughter is she's very modest. I don't think she'll be jumping on the stage, but she's always invited.
So as a mom, sort of, you got into the music industry when it was much different
Yes.
than it is today. What's it like for you as a mom, seeing your kids sort of get into this sort of musical sort of thing? And do you worry about that? Obviously you might encourage them creatively and artistically. Do they want to sort of follow in your same sort of path as far as a career in music?
No, I
or?
think that I'm very proud of my kids. They think of music first. They're music and work oriented. They're not impressed by the lifestyle of the excess of the music business. And I think that if they pursue music, it will be of good heart and with the same integrity that their father had.
Right.
And hopefully that, we all try to have.
You did a lot of shows at the legendary CBGBs and other clubs downtown in the city back when you first started in the 70s. And so did a lot of other artists and bands like Television, Richard Hell, the Talking Heads, the Ramones, Blondie. Was there ever like a particular night or gig that you did back then when you ever thought to yourself, hey, something's really going on here? I think something's sort of changing here. I'm part of something that's new in this sort of trend in music.
Well, I felt that the first time I ever saw Television play. I had just played, I think, at Max's Kansas City and came down one night to see Television. There was literally only 7 or 8 people there, but I knew right away that they were kin and this was the future. And I think I always felt privileged to be part of this energy. There was no question. Right from the beginning, I knew it was right. I felt like that when I saw The Clash. I felt, it hasn't, sometimes you just know. You just know that these people, have come from the right place and their work is good and should be enduring.
Are you a fan of the more popular sort of like newer rock and modern rock? Are there any particular artists that you like in particular these days, or is it?
Well, I like my son.
You like your son?
My son is great. He's a great guitar player. But for me, I'm an opera lover. I listen mostly to opera.
Wow.
But I wish everyone well. I think the most important thing, though, is that we try to recapture the political and revolutionary and poetic ideas of rock and roll and try to shed some of the materialistic and exploitive aspects that has been attached to it in recent times.
Hey, another great song on the new album, Mother Rose. Tell us about that song.
Well, our bass player, Tony Shanahan, wrote the music, and the lyrics are for my mother, who passed away about a year ago. And it's just literally describes her selflessness and unconditional love as a mother.
Wow. Hey, Patti Smith, thank you again so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Patti's new album called Trampin' in stores this Tuesday, April 27th. All the info on Patti at pattismith.net. Patti and her band will be at Warsaw and Brooklyn May 1, 2,